Patriots signed James Robinson to a 2-year deal. It's a pretty small contract. What do you think this means for Rhamondre Stevenson, if anything?
I love it. This is what I would consider, just based on how they both looked last year. I think it's a downgrade from Damian Harris. So James Robinson, I hope he can, find some sort of role, some opportunity to get playing time. But I think Rhamondre Stevenson is the guy, and we'll find out what they do, because neither of these guys, you've noted this, despite the fact that Rhamondre Stevenson was such a big factor in the passing game, that's not necessarily what he profiled to be.
Yeah.
And so will Pierre Strong, be somebody who kind of goes back to that third down role that the Patriots have made famous for many years, that Tom Brady invented. But that made the Danny Woodheads, the James Whites, all those guys. Can we see, maybe another guy working in those type of opportunities? So Rhamondre Stevenson is firmly entrenched in the second round for me.
Wow, that's interesting. You think you're going to be high on him comparatively?
We'll see. I think a lot of people in the fantasy community are high on him. Knowing that this is a team that will be committed to running the ball, I think more competent offensive play calling.
Yeah.
He's clearly, going to be the benefactor of all that. So unless they go out and draft somebody, I think the way that his season looked in the beginning of the year will hopefully carry over for the majority of the season.
I just asked our audience here, 12-team league, give me a round for Rhamondre Stevenson. So we'll see what people are saying. I said PPR, come on. 9th round, 7th round, 5th round. That's a little bit low here. 4th round. Are we just going to count down? All right, so we're going to take a break here. I'll let you know the results when we come back. And we'll also talk about the wide receivers. Do we like JuJu Smith-Schuster or Jacoby Myers better this year? We'll be right back on Fantasy Football Today. All right, back one final time here talking about day 3 of free agency. Still waiting for some Aaron Rodgers news. We still have Damian Harris out there. Any other chips that you're looking to see fall?
DeAndre Hopkins trade, Brandon Cooks trade, or release for those two. Running back wise, Joe Mixon, see if something happens there, but it doesn't seem like that's likely at this point. Any other running backs out there? No, I think Sanders and Williams signing today was, the two bigger names that were available. Kareem Hunt, I guess, is something to see. And then receiver wise, DJ Chark, I guess, might be the next big name, but I don't think that's exactly the most sexy name.
I would rather have Chark, but I think Slayton's a little underrated.
I agree.
Not going to be neither of those guys are going to be fantasy stars, but people play in 14-team, 16-team leagues.
I think a good comp would be, Marcos Valdes-Scantling getting a 3-year deal by the Chiefs last year. That's the type of thing I think you could see for those type of guys.
Yeah.
They're big play threats.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to talk about Christian Watson, by the way. I'm not going to do it tonight, but eventually when this Rodgers thing gets done, I have a lot to say about Christian Watson. Looking forward.
Positive way or negative?
Oh yeah. I mean, the only thing that scares me is Jordan Love. If Rodgers were coming back, I think Watson would have a great chance to be the steal of drafts. But more on that another time. All right, just one big wide receiver news item, and it's JuJu Smith-Schuster. 3 years, $33 million, 22.5 guaranteed, 22.5 million guaranteed, not $22.50 guaranteed. But he had looks basically the same contract as Jacoby Myers, a little bit more guaranteed money. Going to Myers' old team. Who would you rather have in fantasy right now? And there are rumors that the Patriots are inquiring about DeAndre Hopkins and Jerry Jeudy. But as it stands right now, JuJu or Jacoby?
JuJu. I think give that guy credit, for his management, his agent. They found in now consecutive seasons great opportunities. Clearly the one with the Chiefs was better on paper because of Mahomes, but going to a team that had just lost its number 1 wide receiver. Okay, he did that now back-to-back years. Going to a Patriots team that lost its number 1 receiver. Clearly the opportunity is there for him to be their slot receiver and hopefully get a lot of targets from Mac Jones, and Bill O'Brien can maximize his potential. I don't think he's ever going to get back to the level that he was with Pittsburgh. You look at what happened last season with JuJu. And I think we talked about this recently, that he went into that Jaguars game with his best 3-game stretch prior to it, suffered the concussion, I believe it was week 10, and then had a decent 2 games in weeks 13 and 14. One was against Denver, which was a surprise. One was against Houston. And then really struggled until the Super Bowl when they got 9 targets and 7 catches. And so I think the Super Bowl stat line is something that you should kind of anticipate. 6 catches, 7 catches, 50 yards, 60 yards, maybe he gets the 6 touchdowns that Jacoby Myers just left. So a good number 3 receiver. I think that's kind of just the way he should be viewed at this point. Never going to get back to being that top 12 type of receiver.
Yeah, I tried to figure out what the heck happened to JuJu Smith-Schuster after that concussion and why his numbers went so south. Because in his first 8 games, he was the number 20 wide receiver in PPR. He was number 24 per game. He was on pace for 128 targets, 94 catches, over 1,200 yards. He barely got targeted inside the 10-yard line. He often came off the field. The Chiefs were just really weird with their personnel near the goal line. So the touchdowns were low. What's that?
The ring around the rosy play.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next 2 games after the injury, he played 38% of the snaps in both games. So, and actually that was probably the one with the injury and then the first game back. Last 6 games, he's on pace for just 96 targets. But here's what happened in those games. Patrick Mahomes threw a lot less, actually. Patrick Mahomes was throwing over 40 times per game when JuJu was really going early, and then he was about 36 per game, something like that after. And that's the problem I have with JuJu. If you want any upside, I don't think we're going to make the upside case for JuJu. I'll get your take on that, but he's had 3 good seasons. His rookie season was good for a rookie. His second season was 1,400 yards. Last year was a solid season. Solid to good. The only times he's been good is when he's been on these really high pass volume teams. Roethlisberger leading the league in pass attempts, and Mahomes, the Chiefs being the Chiefs. So that's not going to be the case. He's never commanded a huge target share. So I don't know. It's hard to make an upside case for him. Can you make an upside case for him, or do you strictly think he's just, 11, 12 PPR points, something like that, and number 3 guy?
I think that's probably the best realistic situation for him. But again, do we know what Mac Jones is? Because rookie with Josh McDaniels, sophomore season with Patricia Joe Judge, terrible. And then, now we'll find out, with a better play call or better system. But you're still looking at an offense right now, and this is where JuJu, I think, benefits. The 3 receivers that they'll roll out there, unless I'm missing somebody, is going to be Devontae Parker, JuJu Smith-Schuster, and Tyquan Thornton. And so, I think if you're still looking at, how you would label them, Parker's still the alpha from what he's been able to do. JuJu is the slot receiver, and Tyquan's the deep threat. And so do all those guys all take a step forward, or does JuJu maybe just come in as the most proven commodity, and hopefully, his role, based on what you saw from Mac Jones with Jacoby Myers, does that kind of, take the lead role there? But I think you're going to get a bump from Hunter Henry as well. I think that's something that you'll see. He's somebody I think that you can consider a winner from free agency with the JuJu Smith trade. It really comes down to just Mac Jones. Just are they going to just be game manage, run the ball, lean on their defense? Then nobody's going to be very good. So 120 targets is probably where you're maxed out with JuJu if he plays 17 games.
I think their 4th receiver would be Kendrick Bourne. I don't know if you considered him, but yeah, their top 3 receivers would probably be Parker, Myers, and Thornton. Sorry, JuJu. I mean, they're the same guy. Come on.
They really are.